Hey, welcome back to Showing Small Engines. I have a Toro Recycler, 22-inch recycler here with a Kohler engine on it. And I just picked it up off Facebook Marketplace, see if I can get it running. And I have a lot of people always looking for these. So, obviously it's got a little bit of things going on here that needs to repair. But I want to make sure it runs first. According to the seller, they just didn't use it for 2 years. And but it did run when they put it away. So I'm going to do one thing real quick here. I'm going to pull this airbox cover off and see if we can get some fuel into the intake, see if we have compression and spark. So real simple, that's how we can narrow it down to see if it's a carb issue. I just want to show you that it won't start real fast. And there is fuel in here, but if they didn't use it in 2 years, I'm assuming that fuel's pretty bad. So that's obviously going to be a part of the problem. So I'm not even going to bother just putting fresh fuel in there. I'm going to take the whole carburetor off and clean it. But I want to make sure that it starts without... I do want to make sure it starts. So we have a very dirty air filter right here. So we're going to get rid of that. And now I'm going to make sure that this opens. It's definitely getting some fuel in there. Let's try it again. All right, it does start, and it actually stayed running. You can hear the RPMs running away, so that tells me that probably what's happening is the governor linkage is getting hung up. Either the linkage or the butterfly, the throttle butterfly, is not working. So we'll dig in here. I'm gonna clean the carb anyway, and I'll show you how to clean it, and I'll show you why that RPMs took off like that, and then we'll do it step by step. First thing I got to do is get this airbox off. There's two 10mm nuts. Get that out of the way. You can actually just take this whole airbox off. And here, this is your auto choke. Okay, when that heats up, that'll open up and stay open. This runs off of a little spring over here, and as that heats up, it'll eventually open this. Here's my governor arm, and there's my throttle. Oh, now it's free. Now it's moving. Okay, but it wouldn't start before, and I know I'm gonna have bad gas in here. I know what I want, but I do want to check to make sure that this is nice and clean. So we're going to take this whole thing off, and I'll show you how to do that. So I want to clamp this fuel line so I don't get fuel draining out. I'm going to move this hose clamp. Get my hose remover. If this is something that interests you, I'll show you a link to get these. Now we're going to move this forward, and we're going to take the governor arm and governor linkage and governor spring off. But the hard part with these is this linkage right here. You can't get it any further without that coming off. All right, so you can see how it's hooked around here. So what I do, I'm going to come over here, and there's a little plate right here you can see. I'm going to bend that upward, all right, just enough to move it past that little pin. And then this can pop straight up. There we go. So when I put that back on, I'm just going to put that on and bend this tab back down. That's it. So there we go. Now I can remove that auto choke arm. Now the carb will slide right off. And then we'll take it over to the bench and do a cleaning on it. If there's any fuel in there, we'll get that to drain out. Not much in there. We'll take this 10mm bolt off the middle. This is a drain plug. This is a bulk bowl bolt that'll hold the bowl on. Let's give this a little tap. And it'll come off, and you can see there's a little bit of, there's some water in there. Water is going to turn your bottom of your carburetor bowl. It's going to start to eat it away, and you get a lot of gelatin down there. Otherwise, not horrible, but you can definitely see there was some gunk in the bottom. So next thing I want to do is I want to pull this main jet out, but I'm going to get the bowl out of the way. And there's my needle with a little spring on it. Don't lose that. Don't pop that off. If that looks good, leave it alone. Now in here, small little screwdriver flathead. We're going to get down on that jet. Try not to strip that or it's impossible to get out. There we go. So this is the emulsion tube. I'm looking at these holes, make sure they're clear. Some of these holes are not clear. That one's not clear. And then looking down the center, that you can see through there, that's pretty good. On the main jet, a little clogged, so we're gonna have to get that opened up a little bit. You can use carb cleaner. You can, if that doesn't work, forced air, and if that doesn't work, I like to use these torch tip cleaners. There we go. Good. Carb cleaner, we're gonna just shoot a little bit through there. Same with this one. Emulsion tube. A little bit of air. Now I can see through all those holes. Okay, so now we know the jets are clear on the main jet. Now I'm going to pull off the pilot jet, which is underneath here, but let's get all this gunk off first. One thing I want to do is make sure that this is moving nice and freely. So we're going to clean. That's better. Take this idle adjustment screw off. It's plastic. And then we're going to pry up on this little guy here. Pop that out. And on the bottom here is going to be your pilot jet, which I can actually see in this one's actually not bad. Sounds like it's getting through. You don't want to soak this because there's a little O-ring on the bottom here. And if you soak this in like a carb cleaner, that will ruin that O-ring, and then you're going to lose your air seal. If you have trouble getting through this, a lot of time these guys are too big. Now this one fits just right, actually. So the smallest one does fit on this particular sheet, but if these are too small, then I use like these micro drill bits. I'll take like the smallest one or the second smallest one, and I'll hollow it out with that. Okay, that's a lot skinnier. And I'll show you where you can get these online too. All right, one more thing I want to check is make sure that air is going through the fuel. There it is. I'm going to check this O-ring. Let me see if I have one. All right, I do have it, so I'm going to get this old one out. Yeah, this definitely is due for one. Probably could have got away with it, but I don't want to send this out and have it leak down the road. So got the new one here. We'll put that on right away. Press that into place. All right, so going in reverse order, we're going to put the float and needle in. Let's get that pin on. One thing you can do is check to make sure that this is sealing, so you can use some suction to pull here. And it does. All right, so that's good. Let me clean the bottom of this bowl really fast. All right, it's not too bad. A little bit of like rust at the bottom, but that's not going to cause any problems. It's clean. I'm going to put that O-ring back in. Make sure that's sitting down in the groove. We have the emulsion tube. Thin side goes in first. Then the main jet. Make sure that the flathead screwdriver side is up. Make sure that's tightened. Don't let it strip. Now the bowl's going to go on. I always do the drain plug opposite of the fuel line. Like that. And then the bolt for the bowl. Tighten that down. Now we're going to put the pilot jet back on. Flat side goes against that flat piece in the back. Okay, flat side forward. Pop that down. It should go flush against. And then we're going to bring in this idle screw. Make sure that this is lined up perfectly, otherwise you'll strip this out immediately. It should go in real easy. And then that's going to stick out just a little bit, maybe about 1/8 of an inch, about there. Okay. And that's the low idle there. All right, this gasket looks okay. I'm gonna make sure that these passages are clear quick. Yep, coming right out the other side. Perfect. Normally I clean these passages when this is open, but based on how the carburetor looked, it wasn't terrible. Carb cleaner went right through those anyway. Okay, that's it for the carb. Let's get it back to the machine. I want to empty the fuel out of the fuel tank, put some fresh in, and see if we can get this to start. All right, we're gonna lift this drain. Actually, this fuel actually looks pretty clean. My guess is they probably tried to start it and then had trouble starting it, and then just put it up for sale. But I want to clean the gas tank out anyway, so we're gonna just let this run all the way out, and then I'm gonna blow a little air through to make sure that that's nice and clean through here. There should be a fuel filter in here. Make sure that that's blown out. Like I said, that fuel actually looks pretty good. I'll probably just use that in one of my other mowers. I just want to blow a little bit of air through here. Just to make sure that that was flowing good on both sides. Remember, we got to get this linkage on first. Okay. Let's get that started. And we'll come over here and hook up this side. I'll show you how to do that now. So I still have that piece bent. We're just going to turn that around, and we'll reach in with the pliers. Bring it back over here. Fold it down. Perfect. And we have the governor arm and spring. And then the fuel line. And the clip to the fuel line. Airbox cover goes next. Hook up the breather hose over here. Make sure that these metal collars are here. Otherwise you'll crush your plastic. 10mm nuts back on. Put a new air filter on. Clip that in. And we're going to add a little bit of gas. Some fresh non-ethanol gas. And then we'll give it a second to drain in and see if it starts. You want to make sure that you're not getting any fuel leaks. So that's pretty much it. That one was pretty simple. We just got to get some fresh fuel. We had to loosen up that butterfly, get some of that grime out of the bottom of the car, replace that O-ring for the bowl. If you got any questions, or if this video helped you, let me know in the comments. I appreciate the feedback and appreciate the support. Check out my other videos here. You can also check out my channel, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.